The next area that I want to jump into is the popular opinion of psychedelics, because since we talked, it's become a topic that I read a lot about. It's a topic that many friends of mine and colleagues I know are talking about. And I just wonder how popular opinion has shifted. And then we can get into regulations and laws, because legally it doesn't seem like a lot of states or even cities are legalizing it. But I'm curious to start with popular opinion in the US.
Yeah, popular opinion has shifted quite a bit. I I think really, a big part of that has been this kind of growing, or at least moving along with that, is the very large growth of a psychedelic medicines industry. Dozens of companies with their eye towards FDA approval of these medicines, many of which now have novel compounds that they're moving through the pathway, um, and continued positive media. I would say, if anything, sometimes there's kind of things are a bit too enthusiastic. You get concerned when really things are portrayed as a cure-all, and the idea that everyone's going to be helped, which is not going to be the case. And there is a concerning sort of creep of psychedelic evangelism, where it really seems that science isn't the thing guiding us, and that it's sort of this kind of mission to, that psychedelics are going to save humanity. That's a very concerning kind of twist on this field, because those types of visions inevitably lead to harms. This sort of ends justifies the means mentality, and so there's been a lot of hype. And so I think it's important to have the right balance between, hey, that it looks like there's a lot of potential here. This could potentially help a lot of people who aren't currently being helped now, but nothing's going to help everybody. Not everyone should be doing psychedelics. There are real risks that shouldn't be trivialized, and we shouldn't be, there's a strong tendency towards the guru worship, this sort of deification of the figures in the psychedelic world, and that's really dangerous. There's a lot of egos, a lot of narcissism, a lot of sort of, I think, people enjoying that type of of that type of opinion, and I think we just have to really keep ourselves grounded, and and to the degree we can, work together towards making these, um, going through the relevant pathways to make these available in the right way to the right people, um, and particularly on the sort of the metaphysical, the spiritual realms. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. I think one of the biggest challenges that we really just need to mainstream this in a way where you can provide very human treatment. You can support people. You can have extremely inviting environments, positive settings. But when it comes to flavoring metaphysical and supernatural beliefs, I think we need to really strongly stay away from that and let the patients, make any decisions they want to. There, make any interpretations that they want to, and we're not there to correct them, and impose materialism or anything like that. But it's really going to be critical that we let the patient drive the bus in terms of any spiritual interpretation. And by that I mean metaphysical, supernatural, whether it's, that, Jesus spoke to their heart, or whether it's plant spirits, or whether the person has a Muslim interpretation, or they have a completely atheist, interpretation of sort of the psychedelic experience. all of that is welcome, but let the patient drive the bus when it comes to any of that, because I really see the big dangers here is this guru complex that's developing surrounding the use of these psychedelics.
I might have mentioned to you when we talked in 2020 that I'm on the board of a drug and alcohol treatment facility, and I've been on the board for about 5 years. One of the first meetings that we had that I was involved with, I had mentioned psychedelics as a potential tool for treatment, and the rest of the board members just shut it down, had no interest in having that conversation. That was about 2020, maybe 2019.
Yeah.
And then since then, almost every board meeting, big board meeting, annual retreat that we have, we talk about psychedelics and the advancements that have been made. And so I have found that to be really interesting because most of the board members have gone through treatment. I have not. So they're 12 steppers, they're abstinence only, but they've even opened up to this. And I thought that was kind of interesting to see that shift among that population of people. And I wonder if you want to comment.
Yeah, that's certainly reflective of where we are at as a culture. It seems to be these conversations are happening everywhere. And so people are open to the potential, just again advise that people, recognize. I mean, there is some concern that, I mean, maybe there, some of the initial concerns, even if they weren't completely balanced and even if they weren't open to the evidence of and the potential of using these things in a balanced way. I mean, there may be kernels of truth to some of their initial concerns. I mean, it does appear to be the case that some people are using, even though psychedelics, the classic psychedelics like psilocybin or ayahuasca, don't appear to be addictive in the classical sense. I mean, people getting into daily use habits where they, can't control their own use despite their best wishes. Nonetheless, there are folks clinically that looks like they're doing a lot of psychedelics and it's not necessarily good for them. It may be bad for them. So we're still yet to figure out things about the potentially negative effects on personality. I mean, there are certainly anecdotal cases, like most people who have been around psychedelics and psychedelic, various psychedelic communities will say, yeah, there's some people that, are personality disordered, and it's, appears that, the psychedelics may have, one, attracted extreme people, but then also perhaps made people worse. They're, there can people can become quite frankly obsessed with psychedelics as the thing that like defines all of reality, and kind of have an unbalanced relationship. So in moving forward, like openness is good, but also wisdom. I would say one of the big lessons in this field is that psychedelic experience, epiphanies, they never replace wisdom of sort of the wisdom of ethics, the wisdom of understanding boundaries in life, understanding going about balancing the right degree of openness and the right degree of protection. It's kind of at play with everything. How much do you protect your kids versus not overprotecting them? In terms of personal health decisions, you don't want to, you might be safest locking yourself inside, and never doing anything, never driving, never, taking any risk, but obviously that's not optimal. So I'd say a similar, kind of balance is necessary here in the psychedelic realm. And so we have to be cautious not to go too far to the side of that, psychedelics are going to save everything, and that, that they can do no harm.
It's not a panacea.
It's not a panacea, right?